What's up, YouTube? This is Vicente Gonzalez back with another Start and Sit-em. We're actually on time this week and in the right location, so that's pretty cool. But anyways, big week this week, week 9, let's go. At quarterbacks, I say start Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Tyrod Taylor, Matt Stafford, and Dak Prescott, and sit Eli Manning, Andy Dalton, Marcus Mariota, Jameis Winston, and Derek Carr. Carson Wentz had a bad week last week. It wasn't very good, and against a team that he was expected to do well against. But this week, I think he brings it back against Denver. They're not as good a defense as some probably predicted, so that's a good start there. Matthew Stafford, he's probably going to throw all over Green Bay. Their defense isn't very good, and it's Matthew Stafford is. And Dak Prescott. Now, Dak Prescott is a good start. I'm a little worried about the Kansas City defense. I mean, they're not the best either, but they've also been pretty good as far as the scoring defense and picking people off, so be wary of that. But anyways, Dak Prescott has to throw a lot more now, because Zeke Elliott, as long as the suspension still holds, is out. So keep that in mind. That's a very important thing. And sit Andy Dalton, who is a very underwhelming quarterback against a very good Jacksonville defense. Sit Marcus Mariota. Baltimore defense has been pretty hot lately. You saw what they tore up Miami last week, so I don't trust Mariota this week. And Derek Carr, who's been really inconsistent. I wouldn't start him until he gets on a tear. But right now, no, I don't trust him. At running back, I say start Lamar Miller, Adrian Peterson, Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, Doug Martin, and Christian McCaffrey, and sit Marshawn Lynch, Jay Ajayi, Frank Gore, Alfred Morris, Darren McFadden, and Bilal Powell. Now, Lamar Miller, he's really good right now, especially because Deshaun Watson's hot, so I would keep him rolling, especially against the NDD. Adrian Peterson is going to face a much softer D this week against San Francisco, so that's a good start. And the New Orleans Saints running backs have been showing up lately, so keep them rolling. Definitely sit. Well, I don't know if you really can sit, but I don't recommend starting Alfred Morris and Darren McFadden and the other guy, Rod Smith. I don't trust them this week. Ezekiel Elliott, for all we know, might be quickly reinstated and all of a sudden play. And also, that's going to be a running back by committee that can be pretty dangerous to own. So we don't know who the number 1 guy is going to be yet. Good to own, don't start yet, I don't think. And Jay Ajayi. Don't start Jay Ajayi because he's new to this Philadelphia offense. He's got one of the better offensive lines in the league now. But there are rumors that his knees aren't very good, which is why he's been getting less touches. He's not performing as well. It's not a situation I like at the moment. So we'll see how he performs for 1 week and then start him if the warrants a start next week. At wide receiver, I say start DeAndre Hopkins, Will Fuller, Marvin Jones, Michael Thomas, Jordy Nelson, Devontae Adams, and Devin Funchess. And sit Giants receivers, Kelvin Benjamin, Alshon Jeffrey, Jarvis Landry, and AJ Green. And please note that I said maybe Sterling Shepard would be a start for the Giants. I don't know how that's going to treat him yet. We'll get to that. Anyways, these two receivers, DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller, have been super hot lately. Deshaun Watson is a fantasy monster. He throws a lot and very well. So keep them in your lineups. They're beasts. Marvin Jones showed up pretty well for Detroit last week. Keep him in. I think he's going to develop a pretty good little rapport this year with Matt Stafford, well, the rest of the year. And this is my last chance for Jordy and Devontae. I'm really hoping they do well. Brett Hundley had a bye week with them in the offseason. That's the offseason. I had a bye week with them to work on their chemistry together, and I'm hoping something good comes of it. If not, then you really need to downgrade these to don't start them again. So keep watching that. And Devin Funchess, he's the number 1 guy now for Carolina now that Kelvin Benjamin left. So, I mean, Cam's got to throw to somebody. Why not Devin? And sit the Giants receivers, except for maybe Sterling Shepard, because, again, just like Devin Funchess, Eli's got to throw to somebody. And Sterling Shepard has shown breakout ability, so I think he might be okay start, but I don't trust him this week. Sit Alshon Jeffrey, because if Philadelphia gets ahead, Carson Wentz probably won't hit him. He hasn't actually hit Alshon very often lately, so it's kind of a boomer bust play here that I don't like. And I know you really can't sit AJ Green. He's your probably first-round pick, but he has a bad matchup this week. And last week I think he was held to like 1 catch, nothing very good. So I would be wary with AJ Green. Don't expect wide receiver 1 numbers. At tight end, I say start Jimmy Graham, Zach Ertz, Jack Doyle, Jason Witten, Tyler Kroft. And sit Ryan Griffin, Eric Ebron, Austin Seferian-Jenkins, Ed Dixon, and Evan Ingram. Jimmy Graham did really well last week against Houston, and I think this week he's going to continue it, so I keep him starting. Same with Zach Ertz. He's the number 1 fantasy tight end. Keep him in there. Jack Doyle, he had 2 touchdowns last week. I think he's going to be okay. He's more of a boomer bust, but this is one I trust with Jacoby Brissett's safety blanket, so keep him in. And Jason Witten, now that Ezekiel Elliott is out, at least for now, I think Jason Witten's going to get a few more touches because of the passing offense. They're going to have to trust that more. So I think he's a safe tight end to trust. Tight end 2 numbers. Sit Ryan Griffin. He's very inconsistent. Deshaun Watson doesn't really throw to his tight ends. I don't trust him. And sit Ed Dixon. Cam Newton hasn't been using him very often. He's not reliable anymore. He had that one good game a couple weeks ago. No more so. And Evan Ingram. Now Evan Ingram is another one of those iffy ones because he's Eli's like number 2 target, and Eli has to throw to somebody. So maybe start him if you have nobody else. He's a good streaming option, but don't expect a lot. Defenses, I say start LA Rams, Jacksonville Jaguars, Buffalo Bills, Detroit Lions, and the Baltimore Ravens, and sit the Indianapolis Colts, Dallas Cowboys, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Green Bay Packers, and the New York Giants. Again, like I normally do, through matchup plays. The LA Rams are going against Eli without a big receiving game, so I like this matchup. Jacksonville's going against turnover-prone Andy Dalton. The Detroit Lions are going against rookie quarterback Brett Hundley, who hasn't shown much, so that's a good start. For sitting, sit the New York Giants because the LA Rams are like the number 1 offense in the NFL, one of them, so that's not a good pick. The Dallas Cowboys are going against Alex Smith and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill. That's not good unless they can get some pass rush, but I don't expect that. And the Indianapolis Colts are going against Houston and Deshaun Watson. That's never a good matchup for him. Deshaun Watson is ridiculous, so don't start any of these. In conclusion, lots of trades in the NFL this week. Jimmy Garoppolo went to the 49ers, Jay Ajayi to the Eagles, and Kelvin Benjamin to the Bills, and there's so much implications of that. So Kelvin Benjamin is going to an offense that has not thrown the ball very much. None of their receivers for the Bills have done much fantasy-wise, so I don't know what that really means for Kelvin Benjamin. He might be good, he might not, but I don't expect him to be good right away. The same for Jay Ajayi. He might be good, he might not be, but right now, I don't know. I don't trust him. He has a better offensive line than he did in Miami, but at the same time, LeGarrette Blount's there to take some of the snaps away from him. We just don't know. Also, he might be hurt for all we know. His knees, I think, were a part of the reason why they traded him for so little. So just keep all that in mind. Also, Devin Funchess is the number 1 guy. You need to own him now. And if you're willing to take a flyer, Kenyon Drake and Damian Williams are the starters for Miami now. Kenyon Drake has been quoted as being told he's the number 1 by Adam Gase, the head coach. So he might be the one to own more than Damian Williams, but Damian Williams has more touches this year. It's a little confusing, but they're guys worth owning. Also, pick up Alfred Morris. If Ezekiel Elliott stays out, I think Alfred Morris might be the guy to own here. Darren McFadden has been inactive, not even on the active roster, on the playing roster in the game, so just keep that in mind. Alfred Morris will probably be the guy. Also, just a quick interesting stat that I found. The top 5 scoring players in fantasy right now, in PPR leagues, are Alex Smith, Carson Wentz, Deshaun Watson, Tom Brady, and Kareem Hunt. Who could have predicted that? Now, Tom Brady obviously was probably going to be up there, but all the others, man, that's so not typical. That's not what I thought was going to happen. So just thought y'all might like that interesting fact. Anyways, please like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all next week.